Hey, it's Heidi again on Legacy Gardens. I am working through my pickles. These were picked today, and I just finished washing them. I'm just going to sort them out and bag them up. And then tomorrow, hoping to go ahead and make some pickles. I'm not going to go crazy this year on pickles because I still got a whole bunch downstairs from last year to eat up. So, but I do want to make some more hamburger slices. And I thought too, maybe... I don't know about this week, but maybe next week I might try and make dill relish. I've never tried that before, so I want to try that too. And here's the cucumbers I'm working on tonight. Now, like this one, it's about as big as my hand. This will be, for snacks for the boys. This one, those aren't pickle type. Those are too big, but I got these. They got these little ones. Some more like medium ones, and these ones will probably just end up eating fresh. Timothy and Alex really love their cucumbers, and so does Chad. So that's what I'm working on. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on tonight. Like I said, the plan is tomorrow to make pickles out of my pickled cucumbers, and then so that's the goal. We can always have goals. But lately my days have not been going the way I wanted them to. My summer has not gone the way I thought it would go. So most of these days I'm kind of like very overwhelmed, with very little time to do what I want, or if I do have time, I'm like so overwhelmed that I have a hard time figuring out what I need to do next. Or a kid needs me, like today Hannah fell and got hurt, so I had to spend some time with her, comforting her, make sure she's okay. She's okay. But so yeah. So tomorrow we'll talk about hopefully pickling dill cucumbers. I do dill cucumbers. I did do sweet pickles last year, but no one really ate them. So I just do dill. We have some like cucumbers that we chopped up and put in the refrigerator with some vinegar, water, and salt, like a vinegar salt pickle, refrigerated pickle. Those are in there. We do those during the summer because they're just a nice, refreshing treat. You go in, and especially at lunchtime, it tastes real good. So yeah, so I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and we'll make pickles.
I was going to go down and check after it's been a little.
Alright, so I am doing pickles today, which I'm okay with. Tired. Just real quick, I just want to talk about lids. So my two that I find work best are Ball and Golden Harvest. So, and you can find both of these, at your major stores. I just get what they have at the time, and it is what it is. But these I find work great, and of course the Ball work great. You don't want to go too cheap. I find Dollar General has one, like True Value or something like that, and I don't know. One time they worked fine. The next time I had like 3 jars that didn't seal out of 7 or 8. So I was like, okay, not do that again. What I'm doing now is I'm going to wash and sterilize my lids and rings, and like anything in a water bath. Like, you want to make sure you sterilize your lids and your jars. And that when I pressure can, I don't necessarily sterilize my my lids, just for the fact that it gets so hot. I wash them good, and that, but I don't actually sterilize them. I don't see a purpose in that. However, if I'm doing pickles or jellies or tomato sauce, I will sterilize the lids, just to keep them extra safe. So I'm gonna do that. I'm still waiting on the vinegar and water brine and my jars to get hot. So working on, and then we'll talk about how I put the salt in. And I don't put salt in my brine because I find that I tend to get too salty. So I just salt the jars, and then I just pour the vinegar, water, brine in there with the salt, with the pickles, and whatever seasonings you're using. So that's what I'm working on next. Okay, when you're dealing with any kind of hot glass, whether it's a hot baking dish, glass baking dish, or hot jars, you always want to make sure you have something dry to sit it on a cold counter. You will crack the glass. So you always want to have a towel or a hot pot to put your hot glassware on, including your canning jars. The other thing is when you're getting ready to clean your jars and stuff, one thing that you want to make sure is make sure that the jar, so you want to make sure that your canning jar right through here is super smooth. There's no cracks, no chips, because if there's a chip or a crack here, it won't seal correctly. You also want to make sure you can't see any cracks or anything in the bottom or the side. So you make sure there are no cracks, no chips, and you want to make sure they're super clean. I'm not using this one, so it's not clean. You want to make sure you get inside, wash it real good, and all that. Other thing I want to talk about is my dill pickles. Is a really simple recipe. Like, my mom's giving me recipes, ladies at church give me recipes, and I just found the simpler, at least for me, the simpler it is, the more I like it. And since I'm eating them, that's what I go with. So basically my recipe is your vinegar water brine, which is 2 parts vinegar, 1 part water. So I used 8 cups of vinegar and 4 cups of water. So I filled up my 4-cup measuring cup twice with vinegar and then once with water, to give me my 2 to 1. So I have that. Like I said, I put the salt in my jars because whenever I make a brine, it will evaporate, and then it ends up being really salty, and then the pickles are just do it per jar, and then I put my brine in. That's what I find works the best. And then I use dill. We grow dill, so that works. If you don't grow dill and you can't get fresh dill, that's perfectly fine. You can buy dill seed. I think I got some in here. Okay, yeah, so, and what I found, you can use any kind of dill. So like if you have if it's early and your pickles are early and you are growing dill and all you have is the green feather stuff of the dill coming up, you can use that. I've used that before, works great. You can use, if you don't, like I said, if you don't have dill and you have to buy it, you can buy dill seed. This works great. Or you can buy, there's the green dill that you usually use on fish and stuff. You can use that. Or if you grow it, you can use, like I said, the little fine stuff, like the furry leaves. You can use that. But what I've read, the best, most dilly part is when the seeds are just green. So see how these are still green? They're not yellow anymore because they're flowers. So they have yellow flowers, and once the flowers start going, the seeds start coming on, and they're really bright green. That's the best time to use them. But if, like I said, mine are really late, so all my dill looks like this. So, and these are the dill seeds. So I don't know if you can see that. Anyways, so these are the dill seeds. That's where they get the dill seeds from. So we'll just probably just end up using a lot of just some dill seed. Doesn't really matter. It all tastes like dill. And then, so I have the vinegar mixture, my dill, and then garlic and salt. And that's all I put in my pickles. So they're very simple and they taste really good, and that's what I go with. So I know there's different people. Oh, there's one more thing that I use just to help make them crispy. That's the trick, is making crispy pickles. Okay, so this probably isn't like the most kosher whatever, but we use extra crunch, and what this is just it's calcium chloride granulates. So this is what we use, and it just takes a teeny tiny bit. So like it says, use 1/4 tablespoon per quart and 1/8 of a teaspoon per pint, and this helps with the crunchiness. I know people said you can use alum, you can use turmeric, there's all kinds of stuff you can use. And I find using the fresher your pickles are, the better it is, which I agree with that part. I do find that this extra crunch works really well, and it just takes a little bit. Like I think I bought this a while ago, and this works. If you plan on getting into canning, this is an older version. I can't. This came out. Okay, so this is from 2010. But this Blue Book Guide to Preserving is a great resource to have. It just helps. So at least for me, it reminds me of like the headspaces, ratios, time. The biggest thing is times of how long you're supposed to cook things for. Let's see. Alright, so you want to use a 1/4 inch, so you want a 1/4 inch headspace. So I was wrong. That's why we have this, to double check. Like I said, there's like all kinds of pickles you can make, but the process is pretty much the same. You can also like mix your pickles with your brine and then pour them in your jar. You can do that. I do what's called, and that's like a hot pack, and I do what's a raw pack. I do the raw pack because I think it keeps it more crunchy. Where if you get them hot, then put them in the jar, then cook them, they're just hot for too long, and they tend to cook a little too long. What you're doing is all you want to do is allow the vinegar to get into the cucumber to preserve it that way. You're not trying to cook it to death and seal it that way. So it's a little different. You still want it sealed, but the vinegar will keep it, because cucumbers are not, a high acid food, so you use vinegar. Oh, that was the other thing. Vinegar. So when you use, okay. For my pickles, I use the white vinegar, but it has to be a 5% acidic, okay? If it's less than 5%, it's not really safe for pickles because you have to have your acidity level so high to preserve it. And cucumbers do not have any natural acidicness to them. So, you gotta make sure it has a 5% vinegar acidic percentage to it. So I use white vinegar for mine. You can use other vinegars depending on what you want your pickles. Like you do bread and butter pickles, or you can also use apple cider vinegar, whatever. But for our purposes, we're using white vinegar. Again, my pickles are very simple. It's just dill, garlic, salt. I need to get some more canning salt. So the salt that you want to use is canning salt. I have used table salt before. It's okay if you're in a pinch. The only thing is it has other minerals in it, so like it can make your stuff look cloudy and not appetizing. So I do recommend using canning salt. It doesn't really have any extra minerals. It's just the salt. And it keeps everything clear and helps with flavor and excuse me, you're preserving it with salt. Excuse me. And I have to get some more, but the store was out, so I should have enough to do this batch of pickles. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead. I think my jars are hot. So my jars are hot. My vinegar mixture is hot. So I'm gonna flip this around and I will start filling my jars. I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I go along. Cool, thanks. Alright, so here is our hot jar. We're gonna put in a half a tablespoon of salt. Beep. We're gonna put in an eighth of a tablespoon of this extra crunch, which is just like boop, that there. And then we're gonna put in 1 garlic. Again, if you want more garlic, you can. If you want more or less dill, you can. If you want more or less salt, you can. It's not. So I'm gonna put some dill on the bottom, like so. Then I'll put my pickles in there, or my cucumber chips. Okay, now the trick is to make sure you get them loaded in there as tight as possible without squishing them too much. Which can be difficult. Now, I find you kind of want to keep it like below here. If you get too many in there, then you have trouble with keeping them under the brine, which is you want to try to keep them under the brine. Now we're going to take some more dill and just kind of put it right there on top. Okay, and then we're going to very carefully, okay, like so. Again, remember you want to get up to 1/4 of an inch from the top. So, I'm not quite there, but I'm going to stop and I'm going to kind of, the other thing is you want to make sure you get all the air bubbles out. So you're just going to kind of stamping it down. There is a tool for this. Again, I used to have one, I just haven't replaced it yet, so a wooden spoon works just fine. Don't use metal, you will break your jar. I did that once, did not turn out well. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of make sure that stuff. Again, you want to try to keep it below the brine line, so they will turn into pickles. Okay, so we're gonna fill it up to 1/4, a little more. About there. Okay, then you're gonna take a paper towel or a clean cloth. I got towels right here, and wipe the edges off. Make sure they're clean. You don't want any salt or pickle juice or whatever on there, so that's clean. Then you're gonna take your hot lid and ring. And trick is just finger tight. Like you don't want to ramp down on it real hard. You just finger tight. That's it. Just like that. Okay. All right. Then you're just gonna pop this in the hot water bath. Alright, and on to the next one. Okay, so again, in case you missed it last time, we're taking, now these are pint jars, okay? So we're going to take a half a tablespoon of salt, an eighth of a tablespoon, or Sorry. Yeah, half a tablespoon of that. Or eighth of a tablespoon of that. 1 garlic. Some dill. And your picker slices. Okay, and then a little more dough. Alright. Like so. And then our vinegar mix. Take a minute to kind of make sure all the air bubbles are out. Rearrange anything if you need to. Okay, and a little bit more vinegar, up to 1/4. Like so, then clean off your lid. Alright. Alright, so here are our jars in our water bath here. So you're just going to want to kind of, you really don't want them to touch, so they don't knock around too much. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out here a little bit. There we go. Now the important thing is you want to at least have 1 inch to 2 inches of water above your jars. And then you're going to put your lid on. You're going to bring it up to high heat and you're going to bring it to a boil. Once this comes to a rolling boil, you're going to start your time. 15 minutes. Once the timer starts, you're going to do it for 15 minutes. Okay, so we are boiling good. Nice hard boil. So now we're going to set our timer for 15 minutes. Okay. Okay, our time is done, so we're going to turn the heat off and take the lid off. Okay, we're going to let that settle down for a minute before we take it out. Alright. Alright. Here are our lovely 6 jars of pickles. So, you're going to let them sit and cool off. And then we'll check the seals later. You want them to sit for 12 to 24 hours to completely cool. So we've already got, this one's already sealed. That one looks pretty close. So, there we go. Oh, there goes, that one just went. Alright, so it's been enough time. The pickles are cool. And they all sealed. So now all that's left to do is just take the rings off. Like so. And then just write the date on them. So yeah, now pickles take, you gotta let them sit for I think 4 to 6 weeks for the vinegar to completely turn the cucumbers into pickles. So there we go. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed making pickles with me. If you like this video, hit the like button, and if you want to see us again, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.